Well, hello. As always, do not drink and do not videotape and drive. But I don't have any other time to do it, so I do it in the car. My mother-in-law, she, I don't. She is a sick woman, unfortunately. She got into the hospital. And American healthcare is crazy. So, but my mother-in-law is such a nice woman, but very sick. She has had asthma all her life, unfortunately, and she had to take hormones. And she's one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And I married her daughter, which was second best, because mother-in-law was already married to my father-in-law, and so therefore she was taken, but her daughter was available. Anyway, so mother-in-law unfortunately had an illness and ended up at the hospital. And what a crazy place this hospital is. Lehi Clinic. I don't know who this Lehi was, or he or she, or maybe it's a place somewhere in America or some other place in the world. But I'll tell you, the American healthcare, while best in the world, sucks. If you can stay out of the hospital, please stay out of the hospital. I mean, this is unbelievable. Hold on. I need to drive. I don't know. In Cambridge, they ride bicycles. I think it's just the dumbest thing. The Russians don't ride bicycles. I'll tell you that. Not in this Michigan rain, and certainly not across this giant bridge. I mean, like, look how horrible it is. Can you see? Can you see I don't know what they're called, the things that clean the windshield. Anyhow, my poor mother-in-law, she's out of the hospital now. It's gonna be a good story. Don't worry. She might be watching too, so that's why I say I keep it PG-13 today. I always keep it PG-13. So she had this issue with the gallbladder. I told you she's a special woman. Her bladder is gold. I don't know. I heard of the urine bladder, or maybe it's called something else. But the bladder, I mean, I don't want to get too graphical here, in case you're squeamish like me. Whenever they take my blood, I pass out. Right? I mean, last time I passed out when they checked for syphilis at the border when you immigrate into America. Maybe they don't do that because now we've become a nation of politically correct people. But back when I was immigrating, they took your blood. They did two things, both stupid, but you do it. They took your blood for syphilis, I think, maybe other diseases, and they also checked if you were, God forbid, communist. The first one is reasonable. The second one, stupid, because I came from a communist country, and they very toughly, that's probably not a word, but sternly looked at me and said, "Sir, now have you ever been helped Communist Party?" And I told them, of course, I come from Communist Russia. Of course, I may have directly or indirectly, but I've digressed again. Sorry, look into camera. I need shave. Don't think I'm trying to be cool like Pierce Brosnan or Justin Bieber. I just bought this new shaver, electric, but it said works wirelessly, but I realized now that it doesn't always work wirelessly. It only works wirelessly when I charge it. And I forgot to charge it, and what's worse, my wife seems to have thrown out we at least moved the wire, strange wire that goes into it, and that was the charger. Therefore, I'll be needing a new razor, I think. And so maybe next time we watch each other, you'll see my shaved face. Anyhow, I'm almost at work. So back to my mother-in-law and her gold bladder. So she ends up in this Leahy clinic. Oh, I mean, American healthcare system is good, best in the world, but horrible if you go to the hospital. Why? Because as many as there are body parts, you have that many doctors. As many as there are diseases, and there are a ton of diseases. I would know, I'm Jewish. So if there are crap, I usually take this right, but they blocked it. Why they blocked it? The road closed. Why road closed? You don't know. Cambridge. So my mother-in-law is at the hospital. She's allergic to everything, including some relatives on my side. So the first 5 days at the hospital, what do they do first 5 days? They don't do the... Wait. Oh yeah. They don't try... They look at... can I take this right? Yes. Okay. Do you think they fix her gold bladder? Why is it gold bladder, by the way? I wonder, like, I didn't know we had gold body parts. Oh, I'm not in the camera. So they fix gold bladder? No, they don't fix gold bladder. Instead, they want to amputate the bladder. But she likes her bladder. It's clearly gold. And worse, she cannot do the anesthesia. The woman... spiritually very strong, but physically you don't want to go under the knife just because your gallbladder flared up. But I digress. So first 4 days, what do they do first 4 days? First 4 days they just find all the allergies that she has. I told you she's allergic to everything. So yes, and they want to amputate, but God, I mean, every doctor and nurse and fellow and other, it's a teaching hospital, they tell me. What does it mean? I think it teaches you not to get sick. So every moron at that hospital comes to her and says, okay, now we amputate. Wait, I need to, hold on. We do this often. I need to not pay the toll. I need to get into my parking lot. Hold on, sorry guys. Yeah, there is the beep. And we're in, and we talk about my mother-in-law. So those idiots, the first 5 days, they each do their own diagnosis, okay? And they each act like they're in charge and they know, okay? So thanks God, my wife is a starving artist, and which means she had time in between painting lessons, go hospital. At the hospital she spent full time talking to, I can now look into the camera. I will have to go in a couple of minutes, but I just want to finish the story. My wife, look, I can actually position it. No, I may need to lose a few pounds, but Russians don't worry about things like this. So my wife at the hospital spent full time talking to every fellow and doctor, just about like, no, you cannot give her that. She was allergic to that yesterday and passed out, you idiots. Like, don't you write things down? They have some kind of I don't know, maybe that's why they complain about Obamacare. I don't know what this Obamacare is. But my poor mother-in-law spent 5 days. She came out of the hospital. She crossed herself. I mean, she's Jewish, of course, but she crossed herself because she was out of the hospital. She's better. She came out more sicker than she came in. But at least she's out of the hospital, and her golden bladder is, thank God, better. But there are such idiots. I'll tell you, if you know some congressman or maybe a senator who's responsible for this healthcare crisis. You talk to them about my mother-in-law in the Lehi clinic. I'll tell you, my grandmother, it's a different story. My grandmother unfortunately passed away 2 years ago at the ripe old age of 101. I am not kidding. I make up some stuff, but that's the true story, hand on heart. So my grandmother, Rahil, oh, it's a separate story. But she said in her village, and I mean, she was born like 100 and something years ago, there was one doctor. His last name was Afengendin. I'm serious. At least that's what she said. Now, Afengendin was what I would call a family doctor. What makes you a family doctor? You know freaking everything, okay? I mean, maybe he didn't know about golden bladders, but I'm sure he did. You know, he made you feel better. He knew you. He knew that you were allergic to things and people. He would not suggest to amputate your gold bladder. I mean, the guy was probably good. Now, I think you paid him in cottage cheese or something, but Afengendin, according to my grandmother, was a great man. So anyway, healthcare broken. I am not sure how to fix. But if you're in healthcare field, or maybe if you're a doctor yourself, you had better have listened to this broadcast of mine today, because don't be like the idiots at the Lehi clinic. They almost sent my mother-in-law into an early grave, but thank God they didn't. I mean, she is an amazing woman. She meditates. She believes in God. The Russians have a bit of a mixed relationship with God, but that's for some other time. And as for today, listen to your parents and do your homework. And maybe, I mean, if you're young and you want to become a doctor, don't be like Lehi Clinic. They're idiots. Be more like the Afengendin gentleman was from my grandmother's shtetl. So with that, I will be signing off. And I need to go place all this video on my YouTube channel, where I have already, I think as of this morning, seven subscribers. And you know what? Today I will try to Twitter this at the Lehi Clinic idiots. I doubt they're on Twitter, but I got on Twitter and saw maybe Lehi also on Twitter. So I will see you out there. Good night.